The city skyline glittered like a promise unkept, and from the 47th floor of his Manhattan penthouse, Ethan Caldwell watched it alone. At 42, he was the youngest CEO of Horizon Tech, a titan of innovation whose face graced Forbes covers, but whose heart hadn't felt warmth in years. Success had built him a fortress, but loneliness was its only tenant. Ethan's phone buzzed, snapping him from his thoughts. It was Jake, his oldest friend, the one who still saw the scrappy kid from Brooklyn beneath the tailored suits. "You owe me, man." Jake's voice crackled through. "My sister's friend canceled on her blind date tonight. You gotta fill in. Just one dinner, Ethan. Be my wingman." Ethan sighed. Blind dates weren't his scene. Too much small talk, too little soul. But Jake had been there through every loss. Ethan's parents, his failed engagement, the hollow nights when billions couldn't buy peace. "Fine," he muttered. "One dinner. But you're buying me whiskey after." The restaurant, a cozy Italian spot in the West Village, hummed with laughter and clinking glasses. Ethan arrived early, adjusting his cufflinks, feeling out of place despite his polished exterior. Jake had texted him the details. Table 12, a woman named Claire, a lawyer with a sharp wit. Ethan scanned the room, expecting a power suit and a practiced smile. Instead, his eyes landed on her. She stood near the entrance, clutching a worn coat, her dark hair falling in soft waves over a faded dress that looked like it had seen better days. Her face was unguarded, her eyes wide with a mix of nerves and wonder as she glanced around. She wasn't Claire. She couldn't be. Yet Ethan's heart, so long dormant, stirred like an ember-catching flame. "Sir?" "Table 12. The hostess's voice broke his trance. Ethan nodded, but his gaze lingered on the woman as she approached a waiter, her voice too soft to carry. He forced himself to focus, sitting at his assigned table, but his mind was elsewhere. Minutes later, Claire arrived. Polished, confident, everything Jake had described. She was charming, her conversation sharp and engaging, but Ethan's attention drifted. Across the room, he saw the woman in the faded dress now seated alone at a small table, a single glass of water before her. She was scribbling in a tattered notebook, her brow furrowed in concentration. "Ethan? You okay?" Claire's voice pulled him back. "Yeah, sorry," he lied, offering a smile. "Just distracted." The dinner passed in a blur. Claire was kind, accomplished, but Ethan felt no spark. His eyes kept finding the woman across the room, who hadn't ordered anything beyond that glass of water. When the waiter approached her table, she shook her head, her cheeks flushing as she murmured something. Ethan's chest tightened. He knew that look, pride masking need. He'd worn it himself, years ago, when he was just a kid scraping by, too stubborn to ask for help. "Excuse me," he told Claire, standing abruptly. She looked surprised but nodded, and Ethan crossed the restaurant before he could second-guess himself. "Hi," he said, stopping at the woman's table. She looked up, startled, her hazel eyes catching the light. "I noticed you're alone. Mind if I join you for a minute?" Her gaze flickered with suspicion, but there was a softness there, too. "I'm fine, thanks," she said, her voice gentle but firm. "I'm just waiting for someone." Ethan glanced at her untouched water, her trembling hands. "I'm Ethan," he said, pulling out a chair. "And I'm pretty sure whoever you're waiting for is missing out." A small smile tugged at her lips, but it didn't reach her eyes. "I'm Lily," she said. "And I'm really okay." "You don't need to. I want to," he interrupted, his voice softer now. "Please." Lily hesitated, then nodded. Ethan signaled the waiter. "Whatever she wants, put it on my tab," he said. Lily's eyes widened. "No, I can't," she started, but Ethan shook his head. "It's just dinner, Lily. No strings." She bit her lip, then ordered the cheapest pasta on the menu, her voice barely above a whisper. As the waiter left, Ethan leaned forward. "So, what's in the notebook?" Lily's cheeks flushed. "Just stories. I write. Or try to. It's silly." "It's not silly," Ethan said, surprised by his own earnestness. "What kind of stories?" Her eyes lit up, and for the first time, Ethan saw her unguarded. She spoke of worlds she'd imagined, tales of hope, loss, and redemption, scribbled in stolen moments between shifts at a diner and nights in a cramped apartment. Ethan listened, captivated, not by her words but by her. Her passion, her resilience, the way she saw beauty in a world that had clearly been unkind. "Why are you here?" she asked suddenly, her gaze piercing. You don't belong in a place like this. Not with someone like me." Ethan could have lied, could have spun a story about a casual night out. But something in her eyes demanded truth. "I'm here for a friend," he admitted. "A blind date I didn't want. But then I saw you and, I don't know. I just knew I had to talk to you." Lily's expression softened, but doubt lingered. "You don't even know me." "I want to," he said, and the words surprised him as much as her. He glanced back at Claire, who was watching with a knowing smile. She gave him a small nod, as if giving him permission to chase whatever this was. The rest of the evening passed in a haze of conversation. Lily shared fragments of her life. A childhood in foster care, dreams of publishing her stories, the constant grind of survival. Ethan shared his own, peeling back the CEO veneer to reveal the boy who'd clawed his way up, the man who'd become a stranger to himself. When Lily's food arrived, she ate slowly, savoring each bite. Ethan ordered dessert for her, tiramisu, her favorite, she'd said, and watched as her face lit up with each spoonful. The restaurant began to close, but Ethan didn't care. For the first time in years, he felt alive. As they stepped into the chilly night, Lily pulled her coat tighter. "Thank you," she said, her voice thick with emotion. Tonight, it meant more than you know. Ethan wanted to say 1,000 things, to ask for her number, to promise another night like this. But instead, he reached into his wallet and pulled out a card. Not his business card, but one he'd kept for years, from a small press he'd once dreamed of supporting. "Send them your stories," he said, pressing it into her hand. "I know someone there. They'll read them. I promise." Lily's eyes filled with tears. "Why are you doing this?" "Because I'm falling for you," he thought. "Because you remind me who I used to be." But he only said, "Because you deserve it." She clutched the card, then stepped closer and hugged him, her warmth cutting through the cold. "You're not as lonely as you think," she whispered, then pulled away, disappearing into the night. Ethan stood there, heart pounding, the city's pulse matching his own. He didn't know if he'd see her again, but he knew one thing. He'd been changed. Weeks later, an envelope arrived at his office. Inside was a manuscript, Lily's name on the cover, and a note. "Thank you for seeing me. This is for you." Ethan read it in one sitting, tears blurring the pages. It was her story, their story, a tale of two souls finding light in the dark. The book was published the following year, dedicated to the stranger who believed in me. Ethan attended the launch, his heart full as he watched Lily shine, no longer invisible. They didn't speak that night, but their eyes met, and Ethan knew. Love wasn't just a moment. It was a choice, a spark, a gift given without expectation.